Hello, my name is Niels. This is my son Ian, aka Easy, and we are back with another sports check-in. We're going to do a really quick view on NCAA, the NCAA men's tournament. We'll then talk about a few games in the NBA, and then we will do a preview of the playoffs. And well, actually, we'll talk standings, which essentially is a preview to the NBA playoffs. Easy, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. So, Easy, we haven't been watching the NCAA tournament, but I thought it'd be cool for us to just talk about it briefly. Really because of one reason. Do you know what that reason is?
You know what? Yes.
What is that reason?
Yeah, wait. Repeat that question again, please.
So, we haven't been watching any NCAA tournament March Madness games. Um, but I did want to talk about it really briefly because and I was going to ask, do you know why?
Is it because you see whatever that team is
UConn.
called, UConn defeated Duke in the final second, 73-72, I think.
Yes.
And that's our rival, and we would
Yes.
like to see any other team defeat them.
That is correct.
So 3 reasons.
That is right. That's it. Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge that Duke lost in a heartbreaking fashion. Felt good. Felt good to see it. Felt good to acknowledge it. We can move on. Well, but quickly,
Yeah.
I just naming to you. This is the final four, so it's going to be UConn versus Illinois, and then on the other side, it's Arizona versus Michigan.
Wow,
Those
Michigan.
numbers that you see right next to the names of the teams, that shows you what their ranking is in the little mini tournaments that they're in. So UConn was ranked number two in the same division as what Duke was in, and then Illinois is ranked number three, where Florida was the number one seed, and then Arizona and Michigan were the number ones on their seeds. So these two teams will play, and then these two teams will play, and whoever uh this is the final four. So whoever wins these games will go into the championship, and whoever does that will win. I don't think it's fair to ask you who you think will win, but I'm curious if you have any questions or anything you want to say about it.
Mm. So you're saying, are they all in the same division?
No, they're all in different the way that they talk about it, it's like it's not necessarily a division. It's like there's four different like sections of the tournament. So it's the East, West, Midwest, and South. Um but that's not really important. The big thing to acknowledge is that like two of the best teams in the country are
The
made it
best
to the final
teams.
four, and then these other two teams are also pretty good, and they're going to the final four. So
Um, about you were saying when you said it wouldn't be fair to see who will win that game.
yeah, because you haven't really watched. I mean, you've seen Michigan play, but you haven't really watched any of these. You've seen Arizona play,
Have I?
maybe highlights. I don't think you've seen a whole
I
game.
only saw highlights.
Yeah, so it's not really fair to ask you who you think's gonna win. Do you want to guess?
Well, I've been seeing Michigan do pretty well,
Mm.
but Arizona is also good. I'm just making statements. I clearly know it's not fair. I clearly know it's not fair to guess which team is gonna win because I don't normally watch. Yay.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think we can move on.
Mhm.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right.
Cool.
So now we'll go and back into the NBA. And I haven't watched any games this past week, but you have.
Mhm.
So the first game that we'll talk about is the Lakers versus the Wizards. The Lakers beat the Wizards 120 to 101.
Dang.
Not surprising,
That
because
is
the
not
Lakers are one of the best teams in the NBA, and the Wizards are one of the worst teams in the NBA.
good point.
Um,
And look,
before I go, yes, you got a Lakers hat on. Before I go over stats, anything you want to talk about for the game,
like any
or
questions?
just any big things? You mentioned Luca. I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about it.
Um, I have a question.
Okay.
Was the star player on the Wizards playing? I forgot his name. He used to play for the Hawks.
You're talking about Trey
Young.
Young. Yeah, no, Trey Young did not play.
Okay, that might be why they lost. No, that's not why they lost.
Probably lost because they're not good. But
And then
yeah,
that probably why they lost. I don't think Trey Young is happy being on the Wizards or the Hawks because the Wizards and the Hawks were both bad. Are both bad. No, the Hawks. I don't think the Hawks are a bad team.
Hawks are pretty good actually.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
good.
did you? But go ahead and talk. You talked about Luca before
Oh yeah,
the
guys. Last game, Luca had his 16th technical foul and was suspended for yesterday's game against the Wizards.
and they
But
were
LeBron James had a triple double.
so let's go over some of the stats for the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with the Lakers. You mentioned LeBron. LeBron had 21 points. He was 8 of 16 shooting.
That's kind of
It's pretty good.
so that means he missed 8 3-pointers.
No. He was 8 of 16 for field goals for shooting.
What are
overall.
field goals?
It's like overall shots.
So he only made 16 shots.
He made 8 shots. He was 8 out of 16.
So you missed 8.
He missed 8. That's right. He had 10 rebounds,
Wow.
12 assists,
Wow.
4 turnovers, no steals, 1 block.
Wow.
So a very good game from LeBron.
4 turnovers.
4 turnovers, yeah, but he had 12 assists.
What about 6 turnovers?
He didn't have 6 turnovers.
I know. What I mean, I'm not talking about if he had 6 turnovers. I would, if he did have 6 turnovers, would that be good?
If they won the game, then turnovers aren't good. You don't want to have a lot of turnovers.
But Luka did.
Yeah,
last game 6 turnovers.
But the hope is that you have more assists than turnovers. So because he had 12 assists, you're not really that upset that he had 4 turnovers. But ideally, you have 0, if that makes any sense. Like turnovers essentially mean mistakes. So you try not to have as many mistakes as possible. Back to the stats, though. So Austin Reeves had 19 points. He was 4 out of 11 shooting.
That's pretty good.
He had 3 rebounds, 9 assists. He had 5 turnovers, 1 steal. So he had a pretty good game.
What about blocks?
0 blocks.
Is that why you didn't go?
That's why I didn't mention it. Yep. Anybody else's stats you want me to go over for the Lakers?
I want you to go over the 5.
Center?
Not
Ayton.
No, if you want to go over all the 5, then you can. But I'm suggesting you should.
I'm gonna go over one other player for the Lakers.
Okay.
So I'll do DeAndre Ayton, who is the center. He had 12 points. He was 5 for 5, so he had a perfect shooting night. He also was 2 out of 2 free throws, so he literally had a perfect shooting night. 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 3 blocks. So he had a pretty good game.
He had a good game.
He had a pretty good game.
And 2 turnovers, that's a lot. That's not a lot.
Yeah, that's not too bad. All right. And going to the Wizards, it's not that, not much here to go with, but there's a player called Will Riley. He had 20 points. He was 8 out of 19. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal. And then Justin Champagne had 18 points. He was 8 out of 12. It's a pretty good shooting night. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. So yeah, that's
so he had 0 turnovers.
0 turnovers, yes. Anything else about this game?
No, all for me.
All right. Next game that we will go over is the Pistons and the Thunder. These are the 2 number 1 seeds these are the 2 number 1 teams in each of their conferences. So the Pistons are number 1 in the Eastern Conference and the Thunder are number 1 in the Western Conference. So this is a pretty interesting game. Some folks may say that this is the preview to the NBA Finals. I don't think so, and I don't think you either, because I think we both think the Celtics are going to make the finals. But you don't think the Celtics are making the finals?
I just said I was confused at what you said when you said the Thunder and the Pistons are doing the finals.
So they're both the best teams in their respective
Yeah,
conferences,
I
right?
was confused why you said the Thunder and the Pistons were both going to make no, not the finals.
Yeah, some would say they would make the NBA finals because they're both the best teams in their respective conferences. So if they won all their games, they would meet in the finals, right?
So they have to win all of their games,
They have to win the games in the playoffs. So
all of them.
they'd have to win. It's a little confusing to explain, but there's like each time they play a team, they have to win 4 games. And so if they win 3 rounds, then they get to go to the finals. And
Okay.
because they're the two best teams, someone could assume that they would make it all the way. But needless to say, the OKC Thunder won 114 to 110.
Wow.
Shea led all players in points. Shea had 47 points. He
Wow.
was 12 out of 19 shooting.
Wow.
Golly.
He had a good game.
He shot 25 free throws, easy. That's ridiculous.
And did he miss all of them?
No, he made almost all of them. He made 21 out of 25. That was pretty good.
So he missed 4?
He missed 4, but he shot 25. That's a lot of free throws.
I know. People I don't think people why would people want to foul the MVP last year?
Some would say he puts himself in a position to get fouled.
Okay. He's smart.
Yeah, he's playing the game. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 2 steals. Very good game from Shea. And then it doesn't look like Jay Williams played. The other Jay Williams played. So
Which type of Jay Williams are you talking about?
Jalen. I mean, they're both called. Aren't they both called Jalen Williams? Don't they have the same name? They have the same name. Let's move on. So, for the Pistons, the leading scorer was Paul Reed. He had 21 points. He was 7 out of 13. He had 10 rebounds, 2 assists. It doesn't look like 2 of their best players played. I don't see Jalen Duran on here, and I do not see Cade because we know Cade is hurt. So easy. I think this is interesting. So 2 of the Pistons' best players weren't playing, and 1 of OKC Thunder's best players weren't playing, and yet the game was pretty close. It was 110 to 114.
That's very
and they went into overtime. So I don't know if there's anything we can take away from that. Does that mean the Pistons, if they were in full strength, could they beat the Thunder?
Or does that mean the Thunder are too strong for the Pistons to go to the playoffs? That's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
But I have a conclusion.
What's that?
If Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won the MVP last year, and the Pistons used to be the worst team in the NBA
a couple years ago, but yeah,
a couple years ago, then that translate to for my perseverance, it translates
perspective.
to
Your perspective. Mm-hmm.
It translates to OKC winning the game. So I think the score was pretty good.
All right. So Easy thinks it was a reflection of if the two teams were full strength, that the Thunder are better than the Pistons. You know what? We'll see, but I think that's a good conclusion. Any other thoughts on the game?
Nope.
Okay. Last thing that we will cover is the NBA standings. So for the Eastern Conference, Detroit is still number 1. Then there's the Celtics.
Still number 2.
Yep. Then the Knicks.
Still number 3.
Then the Cavs.
Still number 4.
The Raptors. And and then the Hawks. They are currently in the top 6 seeds, and then competing for the play-in are the 76ers, the Magic, the Heat, and the Hornets. That's been pretty consistent. So those 10 teams are going to be in the playoffs with, of course, the Sixers, Magic, Heat, and Hornets competing to be in the play-in. So we'll see if any of them, which one of them actually makes the playoff. But it does officially mean that the Bucks, the Bulls, the Nets, the Wizards, and the Pacers are all eliminated from the playoffs.
So the Philadelphia 76ers, Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, and the Charlotte Hornets are all playing in the play-in. And what is a play-in tournament?
Yes, they're all potentially going to play in the play-in. We still have a few more games before the season ends. And the play-in tournament is when the lowest seeds are competing against each other to see who actually gets to go into the playoffs.
So you're saying all of those 4 teams are going to compete against a team?
Well, yeah, listen, I'll explain it to you. So whoever ends up to be the 7th and the 8th seed, they're going to play each other. The winner gets to go against the number 2 seed. So for example, if the 76ers and the Magic are the 7 and 8 seed, whoever wins gets to go against the Celtics. Okay. And then the loser, just to finish explaining it to you, the loser plays whoever wins against the Hornets and the Heat. So the 9 and 10 seed, they play each other. The winner plays the loser of 7 and 8, and then the loser is of the 9 and 10 is completely out. So for example, in the situation we said, let's say the 76ers and the Magic play and the 76ers win, the 76ers play the Celtics. The Magic will then play whoever wins against the Heat and the Hornets. So let's say the Heat win. So it will be the Heat versus the Magic, and whoever wins against the Heat and the Magic, let's say the Magic, they'll play against the Pistons in the playoffs. If it's confusing, that is fine, because we've only been doing the play-in tournament for a few years now, and I have to remind myself every year what the play-in tournament is.
Wow.
But
that's it. I can't believe they're going to play the Pistons. That's going to be a hard team to beat.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially if Cade is back.
Well, if Cade Cunningham is out, and the Orlando Magic have Paolo
Banchero.
Paolo Banchero and Desmond. Actually, don't know that guy's name. If they have all 3 of those players playing, then they might actually win against the Pistons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. You ready for the Western Conference?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So number 1, of course, is OKC.
Of course.
Then Spurs are number 2.
Of course.
They're only 3 games or 2.5 games behind the Thunder. Wow. So it's still debatable who's going to be the number 1 seed. This is a fascinating watch. Wow. Then there's the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, and the Rockets. And then currently in the play-in is the Suns, the Clippers, the Blazers, and the Warriors. And eliminated is the Grizzlies, Pelicans, Mavericks, Jazz, and Kings.
Kings.
Yep. They are out. Any thoughts on the Western Conference?
I just hope, and I know I've said this before, I just hope every team does good. I'm saying this 3 times because even if you're out of the, even if you get defeated in the playoffs, you still have another year to go, and who knows, you might win the finals.
Very optimistic and supportive of you, Easy. And with that, that's it for now. We will catch you all next time, and at that point we might be closer to the NFL draft, so we can talk a little bit about who's going to get drafted and what it's going to look like for the NFL. So until next time. Peace.
Popcorn Crew.